Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The motto of our da'wah goes like this. The motto of our doctrine goes like this. None should be worshipped except Allah, and Allah should not be worshipped but by what He legislated for us as a matter of worship. In other words, Allah did not only order us to worship Him, but He revealed on His Prophet the constitution of worship. So no one can add anything to it. It's not allowed. The other thing is, we should know that visiting the graves at the early time of the Prophet's prophethood was forbidden. Visiting the graves was not allowed. But after a period of time, the Prophet pursued the allowance of visiting the graves. The question is why? Because paganism, what I wanted to say is people fell in paganism under the pretext of seeking the means to get closer to God by those same dead people. So we go to them, we ask them to intercede for us, we visit their graves for that, or we believe that their graves are holy and they have operation room, their graves are operation room, so they can follow up everyone, they can hear the call of that, the need of this, and they can intercede for God. That was, we call it witchcraft or something. So, but this is how people fell in paganism, through graves, through saints, believing that they can hear. They are holy people. God had given them superpower, so they can hear this, they can respond to that. And that is why visiting the grave at the early time of Islam was forbidden. But when people's belief were purified from this paganism, these concepts of paganism, then, all right, visiting the graves was forbidden. But now, go ahead. Why? The Prophet said, it reminds you the hereafter. So, visiting the graves restored to its pure, honest goal. What is it? What is the goal of visiting the graves? Is to remember the hereafter. Is to remember by watching this hole, that each one of us is going to be in this hole. So that shows the purity of this religion. The other thing is, Allah is over His throne. Who said it? He said it. Do we believe it? For sure. That is the fact of submission and surrender to Allah, is to describe Allah by that He described Himself, because there is no one ever better in describing Himself than Allah describing Himself. We are no better than Him. We are not in a position to say, oh, that doesn't fit Your Majesty, oh God, so let's twist its meaning. No, who are you? Allah knows about Himself better than you. He's unseen to you. So if He's unseen to you, how do you make your own personal judgment about what should He be and what shouldn't He be? And there is nothing called metaphor regarding Allah's names and attributes. No. But we believe in the context. If we may change from one meaning to the other of the same word, it is because the context that give its judgment about it. It's not because the so-called metaphorism. The other thing is, the apparent meaning of the Quran is evident by itself. Nobody should say, no, but it has deep internal meanings, which is secretly can be understood by some wise people. No, 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 no. Allah made the Quran in a clear language, which is also a plea and evidence unto every one among people on earth. So the apparent meaning of the Quran is evident, and no one should be going from the apparent meaning to another deeper meaning without evidence. So if the Ummah had disagreed about this meaning, particular meaning, then the apparent meaning will remain to be the evidence. Why? Because the whole Ummah, nation, will not be agreeing on error. I'm not talking about the individuals of the Ummah. No, no, the Ummah as whole. The Ummah as whole will not be agreeing on what is misguidance. This is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved the Ummah from falling in. So if parts of the Ummah disagreed about this particular meaning of the Quran, then we go to the apparent one, which all have to agree with. The ranges of evil are three. Ranges of evil. There are three in this Ummah. Shirk, bid'ah, taqleed ama. Those are the range of evil. Polytheism, shirk, innovation, and blind following. And there is no unity of the Muslims will ever be sought or hoped without getting rid of those evil ranges. No way. Because if you keep thoroughly looking, analyzing the sources of the Ummah's division, you'll find those three ranges of evil. We are the Ummah of Da'wah, inviting Ummah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had entrusted us to save people from hell, and the Ummah should not be consuming or exhausting all its energy by doing other stuff while giving up those mostly important issues. This is our utmost and foremost target and goal. The other issue is jihad is the bodyguard of da'wah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had issued and prescribed and legislated jihad as a means of guaranteeing the lasting of the ummah and the da'wah without being stopped or blocked. I'll repeat what I said. Jihad is the guardian, is the protector of the da'wah, is the personal protector of da'wah, I should say. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had issued this jihad as a means of guaranteeing the remaining of da'wah, lest someone may stop it and block it. When someone stops it, he doesn't want people to hear the call of Tawheed, the revelation of Allah, then jihad will be the bodyguard of da'wah. Primarily, da'wah is always should be given in the best means. ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. Call for the way of your Lord by wisdom and the good advising. There is an important favor which is significant over all other considered favors, and that is the favor of signifying the truth from falsehood. Because some people think that falsehood is with the outsiders of Islam only. That's not true. There are people inside of Islam and they are deviant. They are deviant. As I mentioned about the callers of misguidance. In matter of fact, they were described by the Prophet ﷺ that they are the callers of hell. Whoever responded to their call, they will throw him in hellfire. So you have to be careful. So there is an important goal for us, that is to let the truth be signified from falsehood. And we're not interested in a unity that will be causing the mingling of evil with the good. So the good will not be seen clearly, purely. So, in this case, in this perspective, we say, filtering the ummah. I repeat, filtering the ummah. So the ummah will be uniting on a pure doctrine and belief. This will be working rapidly on fixing the situation of the ummah and helping it to get united. Giving more consideration to the unity on the account of signifying the truth from falsehood, it may cause the truth to be blurred, unclear. No. That is why we say كلمة التوحيد أساس توحيد الكلمة. The word of Tawheed is the best way, is the basis of the Tawheed of all the Ummah. Tawheed the Ummah. Tawheed Ummah means the unity of the Ummah. Tawheed Allah means unifying Allah by our actions. So the Tawheed of Allah has more priority than the Tawheed, the unity of the Ummah. That is a very important thing to be known. Without doing this, without making this consideration more important than the other thing, will be causing the matter of Tawheed to be covered. We don't need that kind of unity, which will be covering the importance of Tawheed. No. And we know that if we work on a pure unity of Tawheed monotheism and following the Sunnah of the Prophet, this will be causing the Ummah to return to Allah and to become victorious. This will bring back the dignity of the Ummah. As you see today, a lot of innovations. Look, people may innovate something. I may disagree with that, and someone may disagree with. So you should not dictate me to follow your innovation, your suggestion. You shouldn't be dictating me. But I should force you to follow the Sunnah of the Prophet. I should confine you. To follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. You cannot bargain with me. You cannot bargain against me on that. But I can criticize you. I find this, you're not important to me more than the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. This, how can we come to unity? When we say, all right, let's see what is the judgment of the Sunnah. Let's follow the Sunnah. By this, the Ummah can get united. But by suggestion innovations, and each one desires a certain innovation, and some others will be disagreeing with that. As a result, as a consequence, this is the worst consequence. That is why Allah the Almighty said in His Quran, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا. If you ever disagreed on something, then return it to what Allah said and to what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said. If you believe in Allah and the hereafter, this is good and a best consequence. It has the best result and consequence. Um, the soundness of the methodology, we believe that this is the best factor. This is the best factor and approach for unity. The soundness of the methodology. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, هو الذي أيدك بنصره وبالمؤمنين وألف بين قلوبهم. It is He, Allah, who supported you by His victory, by the victory, who supported you to victory. Allah the Almighty said, هو الذي أيدك بنصره وبالمؤمنين وألف بين قلوبهم لو أنفقت ما في الأرض جميعا ما ألفت بين قلوبهم ولكن الله ألف بينهم إنه عزيز حكيم. It is He that has supported you with His help and with the believers. And He brought together their hearts. If you had spent all that that is in the earth, you wouldn't been able to bring their hearts together, but it was Allah who brought them together. Indeed, Allah is the exalted in might and wise. That's what Allah the Almighty said. So the factor of the Ummah's unity is different than the usual kind of people's unity. The greatest and the most important factor in this Ummah is the factor of obeying God, submitting yourself to God, following the methodology that Allah has subhanahu wa ta'ala had guided you to, by confining yourselves to the book of Allah and to the authentic sunnah of Rasulullah, and by the practicing of both through the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the way. Yes, it is true that jama'ah, the unity of congregation, is better than division, but with a condition that we get together and our attitude when we come together is that we come on this straight methodology and the wise sunnah of Rasulullah. Mere uniting and try to be as one person with the people of falsehood, there is no favor for Islam in this. But it will be helping on demolishing or disguising Islam in the eyes of the non-believers. Such as what we see, some people beat themselves up in their anniversary of the death of the grandson of the Prophet ﷺ. Every year we have a problem in this. Non-Muslims keep asking us a question: what is that? Is this Islam? Confining yourself from the book and the sunnah and avoiding what is bid'ah. Confining yourself on obeying the Prophet ﷺ. That has two bounties, two rewards, two important things that you need. What are they? Allah says, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. Say, if you love Allah, then follow me. Then Allah will forgive you. Allah then will love you and forgive your sins. Is there anyone who doesn't need those two important factors? To be beloved by Allah and to be granted mercy? How can you achieve that? By obeying the Messenger. I'll repeat the verse. Say, if you love Allah, then follow me. Then Allah will love you and forgive your sins. Loving the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the meaning of your testimony for his message. But his message is the Sunnah. And practicing this Sunnah while avoiding bid'ah, innovation, will be the evidence that your testimony is true. When you say, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, that's a good testimony. But you have to prove it by your actions, by following that Sunnah. Claiming loving the Prophet, claiming loving Allah is easier than doing or practicing the love. Just to say it, it's easier than practicing it. So what about those companions, our predecessors? Those are the ones that had maintained, preserved the book and the Sunnah. They soundly understood it and they soundly, properly practiced it. They soundly understood it and they perfectly practiced it. So there is no need. We are free from needing someone who brings for us a new understanding which the companions themselves did not understand it the way they want us to understand it. Because understanding it the way different than the Salaf, our predecessors, will be fruiting and causing different practicing than their practice. So if you did not understand it the way they understood it, your practice will be different than their practice. The word following the Salaf, the predecessors, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, is obliging you to leave, to abandon what they abandoned, not only to do what they did. So whoever invite people, call people to do what they left or to leave what they did, then he is opposing the Prophet ﷺ. He is opposing the Prophet ﷺ and opposing the Salaf. Then as a result, we find Allah the Almighty says in His glorious Quran, وَمَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ مِن بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمَ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. This ayah is horrible. Spectacular. Allah is saying in this ayah, and whoever opposes the messenger after guidance had become clear to him, then he follows other way than the way of the believers, that means the companions. We will give him what he has taken and drive him into hell. And evil it is as a destination. In other words, Allah is saying to you, you want to follow the way you want to follow your desire. You oppose the Prophet and his companions' way, following your own way, then we will help you with that. We let you go with it. But it's going to leave you, it's going to lead you to hellfire. We believe that Allah the Almighty created the creatures to worship Him and to prove His oneness by their actions. See this, I love that word. It's not only a matter of believing that there is one creator for the universe. No. but you have to worship Him as one in your worship. It's not enough to say, I believe He's one. No, no. You should worship Him as one. And to be so cautious from doing anything that may cause others to be associated as partners with Allah. Tawheed. It's a very important thing. Allah the Almighty said, I have not created the jinn kind and the mankind except to worship me. The other issue is that we affirm what have been affirmed in the book and the authentic sunnah in respect of matters of doctrine, and refusing nothing of it, or refusing it by twisting its meanings. You know, there are people who cannot say, we reject this ayah. So the trick is, let's give it another meaning, saying that this is metaphoric. That is the second way out for those who cannot find refusing this ayah as a way out for them, as a solution. So the alternative solution for them is to say, let's give it another meaning. That was the attitude of the Jews and the Christians. When any text that you bring to them as an evidence against them, the way to refuse it is to say, this is metaphoric. But if you bring something that they need to take it literally, what do they say to you? You're taking it out of context. So sometimes they find the need to look for the context. At another time, they'll be ignoring the context. They'll be taking it metaphorically. This is the way of following desire in terms of what is metaphoric and what is not. Therefore, we believe that, and I think I have mentioned it before, and I have to emphasize this, and to be so strict on that. The context is the judge, because sometimes, one word has different meanings. So which meaning we should be taking primarily before the other? The answer is this. Look at the context and see what the context obliges you and to take as a meaning, as a correct meaning. You know why is that? Because if you take it, this is the only solution for you to deal with this matter, in the proper and the right way. There's no other way than that. So we say, if there's one word, the one word has different meanings, the context will tell us what meaning among those different various meanings should be specified. This is what we call the importance of context. And besides that, it has more order. Because in this metaphoric method, it has no conditions, it has no definition whether you're allowed to use it metaphorically here, but in other texts you should not take it metaphorically. There's no order, there is no law in this. But when you confine people to the context, there is a law. Nobody can play with the meaning, and that's very important. So, therefore we believe that what Allah the Almighty revealed unto His Prophet by the book or the authentic Sunnah, it will never be contradicting itself, because both had been brought to the Prophet ﷺ by one source, and that is Allah. The one who created the universe perfectly will not be falling in any contradiction. In a matter of fact, God gave us a sign about the soundness and the perfectness of His book, saying, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ? Shouldn't they be pondering the Quran? ولو كان من عند غير الله لوجدوا فيه اختلافا كثيرا. If it was by someone other than Allah, you would have surely find therein many inconsistencies, any discrepancies. You would surely find therein many inconsistencies, many discrepancies, many contradictions. So, if Allah created us for Him, for the purpose, for the reason of worshipping Him, then this worship should not be diverted to someone other than Allah. The other matter is, supplication is a matter of worship, and what is considered as a matter of worship also should not be diverted to someone other than Allah. We'll continue.